Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Environmental Commission meeting. May give me a moment while my first time reading the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of April 15, 2024 was included in a list of meetings notice sent advertised in local papers, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, posted on the municipal website, and has remained continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. All right, we'll take
Do the roll call?
Sure.
All right. Paul Wilitsky, we know is not coming tonight. Robin Sudan.
Here.
Stan Yaras. No, I don't want to say that wrong.
Sure. The first
I'll
person
get
who's
it.
asking it.
Okay, I'll get it. I'll get it. I tried. Jessica Johnson. Here. Arnold Schmidt.
Here.
Walter Andrews.
Here.
Maria Santiago.
Here.
Easy Perez. And Alyssa is here, our intern. Ted Chase is not here yet, but I do expect him.
Okay. I don't have I have lots of things to talk about, but they're really in the agenda, so I don't think I need to make
Okay.
a report from the chair, except that our plans that we will review are only electronic now. So we'll be looking at them online. Everybody got a copy of the minutes. Does anybody have any additions or corrections to the April 1st minutes? Right here, if somebody needs
I love
them.
right, put them up here too.
I move for acceptance of the acceptance.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. And now is the time in the meeting where we open to the public for comment. Do I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Hello, public. Welcome. Anybody like to say anything? Any comments, suggestions? All right. You have another chance later in the agenda, so if you think of something, please speak up. All right, motion to close?
Motion to
Second.
close.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence. Ms. Brooks?
Having trouble getting into the email. It somehow signed me out and now it's not letting me back in.
Did you chime in later when you get in touch with them?
Yeah, because they kept saying, Tara, they kept sending the like password reset, but I
Yeah.
don't do that, they do that. And then they
Yeah.
never set it, so I don't even know if there is a password.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so I'll let IT know.
Can you send out our email
Hello?
blast without getting in?
No. So,
So the password that was set up when I was
Okay.
part of it is no longer.
they have to, they send periodic like notices for security purposes to change the passwords, but I don't change it, they change it.
Oh, they,
So,
and they,
yes.
and they tell you.
And they kept getting notices, time to change your password, time to change your password, but they never, I don't do it, they do it, so they never did it.
Oh, you
So-
cannot change password.
So yeah, I don't manage the list, I'm not an employee, I'm a volunteer. I can't manage the list, I can't change the password.
All right, I will tell them to fix that, or ask them please to fix it.
And then, but in terms of the list of people we email to, you send out that email.
I can send it from the email address when I have the password and I'm
Yes,
logged in.
yes, but the names on the list, you have those, you don't need anything from them.
I need the updated list from Tara, because Stan sent some people along.
Did you update the list in the last couple of days?
Yes, in the interim, he sent some emails this past weekend, or the end of
Yes.
last week, you weren't on them. So
Okay.
I forwarded them to Tara,
Mhm.
and so Tara, because Tara
I
maintains the
update
list.
yeah, and then I send it to you.
Yes.
Okay. There was one.
Because I'm not supposed to maintain it because it's people's personal information.
Okay. I had a name that I sent to you, and I think I CC'd you, someone that.
You did, yes.
Tina White's house
Yes.
wants to be added.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm surprised
Thank you
she's
for
not
explaining
there.
that.
Yeah. We should talk to them though, because I know at work, I maintain internal and external lists with Outlook all the time. There is a way to go in and update it so there's a group, so then you just type in the group. I don't know if they just don't want to do it, because it does mean IT has to put some things in.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
But-
really don't know why.
Because
but-
we do groups in my office all the time, internal and external, so there's no reason they can't create a group, that we just put in EC mailing list and it comes up.
Yeah.
All they have to do is just add people later to that.
Yeah, you have to go into the network and do it, but I do it all the time because IT gave me permission for, in our office, but again, I'm not an employee, but the way they operate, I'm assuming they would want to do it themselves, but I do think that would make things a lot easier than just keeping a spreadsheet.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Okay, all right.
Speaking of mailing lists, I recall how in the first year we had stream cleanup, and Councilman Vassanella suggested that we should have a mailing list and always send information to the same people, and I was like, But now I recall that actually what we are doing is actually
That is a mailing list, yes,
what was
what we-
suggested,
Yeah.
and Councilman Vassanella should be
I'm in
on
your
it.
seat. You want to sit here?
I think all
Okay.
the councils,
Yes.
Where do you always sit?
Stan, we went over this and said that rather than put all the councilmen on it, we're supposed to send it to Anne Marie, the clerk, and she distributes it to the council.
Yes, and that's what I do, yes.
So every time we have communication,
They are supposed to get it through Anne Marie. Okay, then if we can, we'll move on to review of site plan applications. When you're ready.
Okay, yes, I just want to send, write this.
Can I make a couple, I have to leave at 7:30.
Yeah,
But I just want to thank everyone for the awesome cleanup on Saturday. Stan's an amazingly active photo from the event, so very celebratory. Like 100 people came, and it was just phenomenal. So congratulations to the Laura Raritan Watershed Partnership and everyone who came out. It was a really good turnout. One explosive event. I think, was that it ended up being a TV? Is that what happened?
Yeah, look at TV.
Yeah. Someone found a tube TV and it popped, and so that kind of got a
Oh, you
little bit
mean the
nervous.
TV as a race?
Explosion, yeah.
Yeah.
We saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking. And then on energy aggregation, we're updating the timeline. I don't know exactly when it'll happen, but soon. There's a little miscommunication where the vendor, the consultant that we hired, sent us a calendar, was waiting for our approval for the calendar. When she didn't hear anything, she assumed we didn't want to move forward at this time. That calendar would have started like a week ago, but no, she wasn't clear. She never said, please approve this, and I'll move forward. The big issue is just making sure we get the word out when we start the process. So folks always fear change and something new. We'll have at least 10% more clean energy, at least 5% less money. Hopefully we'll save folks even more money. But when we do figure out what the right calendar is to match the meetings and public education, I'll let you guys know. So we're back kind of, I don't want to say square one. It was supposed to start, I think, March 15th or something. We'll push it out so that we can have a big enough on-ramp to engage the public. This commission being one of the primary stakeholders and public education advocates, to let people know, and then, walk it through the whole process to go out to RFP. It's the auction. It's kind of complicated to get some prices back, and then the council would award a vendor if it comes back competitive within the criteria we set, and then there'd be a window for folks to opt out. If they want a dirtier, more expensive energy, they can opt out, and then, of course, they'd start savings whenever that date was, and they can always opt out anytime. So, again, there's a lot to explain to people, so we want to take a little bit of time to think about that. So one thing for the Environmental Commission, once I know the calendar, I'm going to send it to you all to think about what kinds of education sessions we might have.
So we did have a presentation before the elections.
Yep, I remember that.
So you suggest something?
We have to do something similar. Maybe we do a public event too, or stream a webinar, so folks don't have to
And
come
maybe
out.
do a couple of them. We do one in the Franklin Park Library to get people in that part of town. Maybe something here. And I think you want to watch the next edition of Franklin Times and do a big spread in the Franklin
Yeah.
Times.
Yeah, that's a good point. I
And
wonder what the deadline
I'm
is.
sure this was talked about, I just don't remember though. What are the ramifications for people that have solar panels? How does that work?
I'm not the expert on it. My understanding, if you have your own solar panels, it's best to opt out, or you have to opt out. I think that's what I remember
The
them
thing
saying.
is that your solar system is not supposed to deliver 100% of the energy, and you
Yeah.
have to buy the extra.
Yeah.
So whatever you buy extra, you would be part of the aggregation.
That's what I would think too,
Yeah.
but when she presented, she said
I
not to
think-
do that.
The deal was if you have your own supplier, by default, you are not opt-in because you have your own supplier.
Okay.
But if you have BGS, Basic Generation Service, you are automatically opt-in.
So again, we have to confirm that so folks know.
Sure.
I think it's important that we all know so we can answer the question. I misunderstood it. So obviously there's, lots of different situations. Like I am a community solar subscriber. I don't have solar panels. I save 21% on my energy. And then the question is, with the rest of the energy that is not covered by the community solar, I think that energy aggregation would cover that. I don't have to do anything to get even more savings. So I think we have to answer all these questions. A lot of
You can
different.
have community solar while you have your own solar system on the roof?
Would probably be. That's the thing. I don't remember. I don't have solar, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the community solar folks that said you had to opt out. I can't remember actually.
You know, we'll get all the answers
We will.
before we start.
And I think it's important for us to take the time to do that.
Yeah.
So those are my two updates. Was there anything else I was supposed to talk about? Before we got into
You got
this.
15 minutes if it comes to mind.
Yes,
Stop
if the
it.
site plan review, I know it takes sometimes a lot of time
Yeah.
because it's important, so.
So what do you have there for us? Consultant.
So what we have is Somerset Properties. So I'm going to, now this was one that was submitted previously. I think it was submitted before we made the requirement and planning got on board that they have to submit to us what their updates are. So I kind of have to like piece through and see what's what. But basically, before I show you the property, I want to look at the last green land development checklist, which was done in October of 2023. And what they are proposing is a 79,725 square foot warehouse. The warehouse is currently in operation. Applicant now seeks to subdivide the property and construct a new warehouse on the adjoining portion of the property.
Is that permitted under the existing ordinance with no more warehouses at B&I?
So in our memo that we wrote in October, we said the applicant is requesting a variance which is located in the BI zone. In July, they removed warehouses and distribution uses from principal use of BI zone, making them a conditional. So they are able to do it if they can get the approval for a conditional use. And that means they have to meet the requirements of the zone. They are seeking some bulk variances, and we had opposed those variances because we said that there's been a significant increase in warehouse and distribution, it leads to environmental degradation. Subject property is adjacent to the Delaware and Raritan Canal. The proposed 61,190 square foot warehouse will create a significant volume of stormwater runoff. So the new warehouse I just read you, I have to look and see if the size changes. This project will lead to an increase in tractor, trailer, and truck traffic. And we found that there was T&E species on there. We talked about the amount of trees that were going to be removed. 126 were proposed to remove from the site, which means they would have been required to replant 183. And at the time, the applicant was planting 21 and then making a monetary contribution in lieu of planting, so we objected to that. We recommended the use of native and pollinator plants for stormwater management and for landscaping, anti-idling signs, and bike storage. So that was our last report. This is the site plan.
When was the time of application?
It was October of 2023.
And when is this up to be discussed? I mean, do we have another meeting to review this?
No. So this is technically considered a resubmission. So this is, I'm going to kind of zoom in. So let me show you first. I'm trying to figure out, okay.
Is this planning or zoning?
This is, I think this is zoning, but hang on. Yes, zoning. This
And
is
how
zoning.
close is it to the canal?
So this is the property right here, what I'm highlighting. Let me see exactly how close it is.
There's the canal, up top left-hand corner.
Perpendicular-ish line on the
Yeah, 723 feet approximately.
Way higher you.
So this is so just to give you a reference point, so you can see here is the wooded portion and here's the existing warehouse. If you look at their application, which is here, okay, this is the wood, is this the wooded? Yes, this is the wooded proper portion here, and this is existing. Now let me look up close. Okay, so this is along Cottontail Lane, which is where the entrance is proposed. And this says proposed warehouse, 54,329 square feet. So it looks like in this submission, they reduced the size of the proposed warehouse. Because in the last submission, it looks like it was around 70,000 square feet.
How many trees do they want to take down?
Okay, so let me look here. So this one, I just got this notice in, so I didn't really get a chance to, oh, and also FYI, so the Randolph Brook is up here. Okay, let's see, what does this say? Existing tree inventory. Existing trees to be removed. So they're still proposing to remove the 126 trees, no change. No change there.
That whole lot is, it's total canopy, and there's only 120 trees?
126 is what they're removing, they're saying, yeah.
Well, part of it's staying in contact with the
Yeah.
brook.
So it looks like the warehouse is gonna go here.
Yeah.
And this is gonna, I don't know whether stay wooded, but not the
Yeah.
warehouse.
Let me see what else they submitted.
The only thing I would say is I thought that after we did the conditional use, we said they're not allowed in any zone. I think that was after the conditional use, so I just might check that first point.
Yeah.
For
It
the
came-
timeline.
Yeah. It's interesting because it came, I thought the same thing and then I was like, am I confused? But it came to me from zoning. It came to me from Christine. So
I would just
I'm gonna
maybe
have
put
to
that
ask.
in the memo,
Yeah, we will, absolutely. What else did they submit here?
Maybe it's because they applied previously.
It
with
could
an
have been,
amendment.
it could have been. If they were applied before that, although they weren't considered complete, that's why I don't know how exactly that works. Arnie, oh, you were talking about so here's the demolition and tree removal plan. I'm gonna zoom in so you can see. But again, up here's the Randolph Brook, just so you're aware. Down here is Cottontail Lane, just for a point of reference, and I'm gonna zoom in. So this is their tree removal plan. Yeah, I would think so too. They're still saying 126.
How do they count trees?
That's the question. They have to follow our ordinance,
Hey, Mark,
which is use
Robin's
that
getting a
watch.
master's in how to
Yes.
count trees.
What else? What else is, what's this one here? This looks like it's showing wetlands. Oh, this is this showing porous pavement? I have to zoom, sorry guys. Okay, proposed,
Heavy duty
okay.
pavement.
So so porous concrete and some porous asphalt, it looks like they're proposing.
Where?
So this here is regular heavy-duty concrete, heavy-duty pavement. Whatever has dots on it and little super tiny dots.
Go over to the, read the
So-
legend
Oh,
again.
Yes, so
just
this
along the
here,
edge there.
yeah, so that is the proposed
It says
pavement, this is the porous.
It doesn't say porous, it just says proposed concrete pavement.
Proposed concrete pavement, the bigger dots. The
Okay.
smaller dots here are the proposed pervious asphalt, and it looks like that's in the passenger spaces.
Okay.
And this is the bays are the regular concrete. So regular concrete, heavy-duty concrete for this, and then the passenger spots are the,
How many bays do
And this
they
is
have?
heavy duty concrete here.
looks like they have 9, and is this also 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why do I count 10? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, maybe that's just like a walking like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, they number it as 9 on this spot, but I think it might be 10. So we'll have to give that a look.
Yeah, I count 10 too.
Yeah, right? It says 9 there though. This is lighting.
Sometimes they will say 9 regular
Yeah.
back-end bays, and then one where they drive the truck into the building.
Oh, right, that might
So
be what it
that could be
is.
the
Yeah, yeah.
discrepancy.
We had recommended in our letter to them also that they should seek, now, so they're under the threshold of what's required to have a make-ready solar roof. So we said, please consider a solar roof or a green roof. I don't see that anywhere on these plans. So, yeah,
Something
Memo
we could be,
stands.
yeah, I don't think they've made any change. It looks like the one thing they did do was reduce the size. Here's their tree replacement plan too. So, let's see over here. So, looks like they're looking to replant the 126 trees, are these like
Shrubs.
yeah, and these little dots around the, basically facing Cottontail Lane and on the sides of the buildings.
Let's go to the proposed legend and see what they're planning.
So pervious is okay?
Pervious?
Surface percentage?
Well, they haven't changed it, so we said in our previous memo that we wanted them to plant more trees on site, and they haven't changed from that. So when we send our next memo, we can say we stand by that recommendation, or, you know.
Okay.
Let's see.
So they're taking out 106 trees between 4 and 15 inches, and they're replacing them with 64 trees of 2.5 inches.
Yeah.
Oh, 64.
Where's the water gonna go?
Yeah.
What kind of trees, do they tell us?
That I don't see
They
here.
just say deciduous or 6 foot.
Yeah, they don't have the actual, well, hold on, let me back up. Landscape schedule, here we go. So we have shade trees. Let me make this larger. Shade trees. Okay, so this is what they're looking to do. So they have some swamp white oak, scarlet oak, sassafras, eastern redbud, holly trees, eastern white pine.
That's good.
I was gonna say, yeah. What else here of note?
But 13 shade
Switchgrass.
trees.
Yeah, knockout rose. Yeah. So the
Well,
shade
they're-
trees are the swamp white oak, the scarlet oak, and the sassafras.
Only 13 shade trees, 7 ornamentals, there's 20. And 43 evergreen, so there's your 63 trees.
Yeah. Then they have
And the
deciduous
rest-
shrubs.
The rest
Yeah.
is shrubs.
84 ornamental grasses. So again, it looks like the biggest change was to the size of the building, so they did reduce it by roughly 20,000 square feet, but the tree removal is the same. The pervious pavement was there before, that was proposed, and they did not make any, they don't have to accept it as a recommendation, but nothing in there for the solar green roof.
Something we could be saying regularly is that if they put panels on a roof, then they can, what they can do is essentially lease the roof to a community solar purveyor. And
Yeah.
we'll put panels on the roof, and they won't have to worry about it, it'll be the community solars.
We could add that under there,
Operation.
yeah. Community solar leasing option to solar roof, okay. Slash.
Got this from a recent webinar on community
Yeah,
solar.
that's a good idea.
What others went to.
So we keep our comment about the tree removal.
I think we keep all our comments.
Yeah,
I mean,
keep
it's
that.
still close to the stream, close to
Yeah.
the canal.
Yeah, keep all comments, okay.
And then we can try to look at if the ordinance passed.
Oh, yes, and also the ordinance for, okay. We can definitely check on that. Okay. I think that's the only one, I believe, that is the only one we have.
What is the warehouse for? You know?
I'm sorry?
What is the warehouse for?
I don't know, actually. It doesn't say in there what it's for. It doesn't say in the application what it's for, so maybe it's a spec warehouse. Usually if it's for something, it says, you know, we're using it for whatever. I don't see that in there.
Well, maybe it's going to the zoning board because they're asking for a variance from the ordinance that stopped
Warehouses.
permitting warehouses.
Yeah, so at the time of
Yeah,
their
that would make
application,
sense.
yeah. They could be, yeah. They
Yeah,
absolutely could be.
zoning
They can
Yes.
ask-
I remember my third thing. The
Oh, yeah.
Northeast Supply Enhancement Project. The Williams Transco announced that it's not going to be seeking an extension, so they threw in the towel, as it were.
Hey!
And that came out on Friday. So congratulations to
Great.
everyone.
That's
I know
awesome.
folks worked really hard on that. Of course, we have to remain vigilant in case they
Yes.
jigger it in some ways as they can, but I think it's a pretty strong indication that they wouldn't consider going on because they're sending a message to the public, they're sending a message to their shareholders, investors, etc. So 7 years in the making. Good work, everyone.
Wow.
That's great.
Ted, congratulations.
I'm sorry, it appears we do have one more.
Oh.
Now, this wasn't given, this is a question of how do you want to proceed? So this wasn't told to me that we have to review it for this meeting, so we can review it though because I see it on the website. So I don't know if you want to review it now or not.
When's it gonna be heard? Because I got a lot of stuff.
I don't know. It doesn't say, so there's no date on here right now, so I think we're okay.
We also wanted to say that for every bay, we want to have 100 kilowatt charging.
Yes, I add that to the
Yeah,
blurb we
yeah,
use.
okay.
Yep.
Do we
yep.
have 100 or
100, I believe it's
Because
100.
I'm not sure to what we actually concluded.
Let me just check.
It's a make ready essentially, just for that.
Okay, this is under EV charging.
Yeah, make ready.
Let's see, hold on, I have to find where
This
to
is the new ordinance, but
Okay, hang on, gotta find it. I know it's here, I'm sorry, so give me 1 second to find it.
Is that 417 amps?
Oh, we have 200 kilowatt.
you said what, 200?
200 future electrified trucks and our tractor trailers by installing 200 kilowatt EV charging capacity.
Okay, if we agree 200,
You want
then
that?
that's
Okay.
fine, fine.
But it's
Okay.
per bay.
Per bay, yeah, because,
That's not clear.
You want me to put per bay? Per bay.
yeah, it should be per bay.
Okay.
But that's going to be 800 amps.
I don't know how much is it in amps, because essentially you want to have it future-proof in case that the trucks will be electric.
Yeah.
Let them go find another town that doesn't ask so much. It's the whole idea.
No, it's a recommendation. It,
Oh, I
it doesn't
agree.
have any binding.
We should put it all in there, but when you look at all this in totality, part of my hope is people.
They
pick
need
another
to kind
town.
of think what's up maybe in the future.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for
All right,
coming
see you
in.
later.
Appreciate it.
So we'll review that other one at the next
Yeah,
one.
let's do
Okay,
the next
that's
one.
fine.
And I can do that.
Oh,
Yeah, just
oh,
not-
so do you mind doing it easy?
Thank you.
Next meeting.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's called Hamilton Street something. You'll see it up there on the website. Thank you.
Moving on to new business, Sustainable Jersey. We've been awarded energy efficiency grant by
Yes.
PSE&G. Wanted
Yes.
to talk a minute? I think everybody got an email about that from Tara.
Yes, we applied for that Sustainable Jersey and PSE&G Energy Efficiency, I have to like look at the name of it, Partners for Energy Efficiency. And that was to launch a campaign for residential, to let everyone know what kind of energy efficiency is out there. So we did receive it, which is great. We're gonna have a kickoff meeting in, sometime in early May, we're still working it out. But again, through that, we get a lot of resources. So it's not money directly coming to us, but it is, we'll get a tablecloth, printed materials if we want, door hangers, we get to choose what we want. Also, the other thing is they will send a videographer here to make a video that we can put, like a nice video that we can put on our website or social media.
So we have to get the word out, is what it
Yes,
is.
yes, absolutely.
And we have to come up with a master plan. Is that what the kickoff meeting will be about?
Yes, so during the kickoff meeting, they're gonna kind of tell us like, how do they provide technical assistance to us? What exactly do they do? And then we can figure out, and they've done this with other towns, so they know.
You take the
how to-
best of breed.
Yes, yeah.
And it will be employee from PSCNG?
It'll be employee from PSC&G and also employees from Sustainable Jersey. Sustainable Jersey's kind of like really leading
Do
the
you know
charge.
who from PSCNG is going to be?
I don't know exactly yet, but I'm assuming they'll be on the kickoff meeting.
Don Neville? Or?
Who is it?
Well, Don Neville is high up, so maybe
Let
Brian.
me see, 'cause
Yonche?
she- hold on, someone was copied on the email, it's not this person, okay, I don't know who. There was a name, what's this person's name? Nope, still not here. I'll have to find who she copied, it might be someone from Sustainable Jersey, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we may have it in our email too.
Yeah, oh, she is from Sustainable Jersey, so yeah, I don't know who it would be, but, there
No,
will be
I'm just
someone- yeah.
curious
Yeah,
because
yeah, I'll
I
let
know
you
some people, so.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you know for sure, but, so we did get that, so that's great.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that'll be, we'll have to do some work though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also asked Alyssa to write a letter to the school district, and so I haven't reviewed it yet, but I'm gonna review it. And because this same program is also available for school districts, so I asked her to write a letter and kind of explain, you know, what it is and how school districts can use it,
Right.
so, yeah. So that's good.
I hope that, are we going to have, so it'll be grant that we get, so.
Yeah,
that-
it's not money, it's like resource, so they will give us the resources that we
okay.
want, so we can choose what we want.
I'm
Yeah.
just trying to touch into how much, how do we get from the town?
Well, so for example, this grant includes that if we wanted to do if we wanted to do a mailing to everyone, they grant pays for the postage and the mailing, so they'll actually do it, they create it for us, and they do it. If we need help from the town, I can obviously definitely help, and then I'll find out what other help we need, and I can ask who can help.
Because we can look at going out in water bills, maybe tax bills.
Yeah.
I can go to the Franklin Interfaith Alliance
Mhm.
and go to their members who can go to all the houses of worship in town. We now have 70 houses
great.
of worship.
Wow.
So we need to define what is the ask from us.
Yes, yeah, I think after the kickoff meeting, I'll have a better idea of exactly how to proceed, because I'm not really 100% sure, but as soon as they tell us, then I'll know we need this person, we need to start working on this.
And it's for 1 year, right? Within a year?
Yeah, it has to be done within a year, but you know, I mean, it seems like once we choose the items that we want, it seems like it's relatively straightforward, I think. We'll have to see.
And what's the grant amount, you know?
It's not, well, so it's not for money, it's
No, no,
for,
it's
I don't
more
know
what
what
they
it
can
goes up
budget.
to. I think they basically say you can take like, if you, like the printed materials, you can choose door hangers, a targeted mailing, or flyers maybe, and then they do the video, and then they have social media templates, and
They, no cap, basically.
no, I don't think so, no.
They have
Yeah.
categories, I
Yeah.
guess, that they can help and
Yeah.
100%
Okay, well,
of
let's
that.
see what the kickoff meeting
Yeah.
brings us, and then
Yeah.
we'll have a lot more conversation, I think. Micro-mobility study.
Yes, so the micro-mobility study, we had a kickoff meeting on April 2nd with our consultant, NV5. Kevin Perry is our person from NV5 that we're working with. And Stan was there, Robin, you were there. Christopher Gonda was there from our Trails Committee. He also works in the industry. Our township planner, Mark Healy, was there, and Vince Dominic from Economic Development. And basically, our consultant, I was very pleased with it, he showed us what they're thinking, which we knew, is basically trying to connect, starting off with connecting the Hamilton Business District, moving west across Franklin Township. So moving in the direction of the municipal building, and the area covers Inman Park, it has Middle Bush Park in there, the JFK walking path, numerous trails, you know, some transit bus stops, and so a pretty wide area. That's the ultimate goal to start, and then
Don't you
there.
have it?
I do, yeah, I
why don't
can
you
show it to
it
you,
first?
yep.
It was in our email.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I think I sent it around,
Yeah.
right? So that is the plan they're working on. The thing I was really happy with is that they said, oh, this is what I sent around. They said that they will have the deliverable to us by mid-June, which I think is great. I am like super, super
Go to
happy
the
about
next
that.
page.
So this is the study area, the larger area, but you'll see it includes Hamilton. And then this is the study area zoomed in. So you got the canal up here, over here is where Middle Bush Park is and the municipal complex, and over here is the Hamilton Business District. And you can see in between, we have lots of different roads. There's a walking path along JFK, there's a walking path along Demont.
I think it's going to be important that we connect to 27 because that's where public transportation is.
Absolutely, yeah. I think getting to 27 is going to be the ultimate goal. So this is like the first stop basically along, and hopefully we can use this to kind of launch into, you know, more. And then the deliverables, you know, are going to be, we're going to get recommended routes, a bike facility design and recommendations, and then the bike sharing siting plan. And by May 1st, we'll have our 50% meeting, and then the final submission will be to us by mid-June. So we'll actually have designs and recommendations to look at in mid-June.
And with that, we go look for a grant.
Yeah.
For this.
Yep, absolutely. Or a grant to, if we want to expand this study to township-wide, you know, maybe, I don't know, we have to see what we get and say, do we want to actually start implementing, or is it something we want to do township-wide? I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was very good, and we're moving forward. So I will let you all know when the next meeting is, but it should be relatively soon.
Anybody have any questions of Tara about what this is? Everybody understand what this is? Maria? Okay. Recommendations for amendments to the municipal signage ordinance. This was the piece that Tara showed us last meeting, and we said, could we please look at it before we give you our comments?
Yes, I emailed it around. I don't know, so there was a lot of changes, so I sent you one that had all the changes in it, and then I sent you one that is what it would look like if I accepted all the changes. So I don't know which one you would like to, you want to start with the changes, I guess?
I would put up the clean copy. I think
Clean copy,
it's
okay.
easier to work with that.
All right.
Because essentially, with all the recommendations you got, Warlocker took most of it out and really left in one paragraph.
Okay, so clean copy, here we go, okay. So again, this is a draft. Basically, the memo is kind of the same. I added a sentence in that we now have feedback from the township manager. And again, this is a draft memo, but right now it says we have received feedback and implemented the feedback. Obviously, you know, depending on what we do in this, or what you guys tell me to do in this meeting, then we'll may have to change that.
Did you sent that to us?
I did, yeah, I
Twice.
sent it,
You
I
sent it the
did.
night of last meeting, which was 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and she sent it again
Yeah.
on Thursday or Friday.
Missed it both times.
Basically, so this is the clean copy that's up right now. It basically leaves in, for the portion of the sign regulations, it leaves in where we're gonna, you know, this is where we're looking at, the sign regulations, which is chapter 112, section 108 of the municipal code. One of the changes that was made, for example, is we had put in here, I think it was called, you know, I just want to bring this up for myself, just so I
Nursing
know.
homes.
It was called nursing homes. And now it is called, oh no, nursing homes is in there. I think it was called
Senior facilities.
Senior facilities. The correct terminology is skilled nursing facilities, so that was changed. Schools, parks, playgrounds, the word private, you'll see, is now in front of it. The Board of Ed, so one of the main comments was in other areas of our recommendations, the Board of Ed was taken out as like the Board of Ed will do this or whatever, or should do this, because the Board of Ed does not have to, you know, I want to say report to us, but that's not really it. The Board of Ed doesn't have to follow our municipal ordinance, and we can't actually place that requirement upon them. We can't. And then the other thing is, everything in the ordinance that said should or you know, it's an ordinance should be shall or must. That was the direction I was given. So, like when we put in there the recommended, not recommended, but the template sign that DEP has that showed, and we put that in there, that has been taken out, because if that template sign changes, we then have to amend the ordinance. Even though it would just be a simple, say they changed the color of it, we would still have to amend the ordinance. So it's like, that's an example.
Before we leave, I just
Oh,
have
yeah.
a question
Yep.
here. Go back to the list if you would, just up a tiny bit, Tara, so
Oh,
I can
sure.
read the intro sentence. I had to read this a couple times to make sure I understood it. Owners of all newly developed properties in Franklin Township and listed below. So that means these are the only properties in Franklin Township that need this.
Yes.
Correct? Any other kind of newly developed property in
Right.
Franklin does not need this.
Right.
Okay. So, and listed below, for me, I thought as listed below.
As
was a little
listed.
clearer.
That could be-
Does it talk about recommendations for properties such as the Board of Ed and others, and why the recommendation is good for them if they do put in the signs?
No, it does not.
That's
So,
the end of it.
That's
This
the
is
end. So the reason that was taken out, or the recommendation, I should say, is to take it out, is because again, so it's that the Board of Ed, we can't place this requirement on them, it's not
I
permissible.
understand that, that's why it's a recommendation.
Right.
And the reason that we talked about was, we recommend for existing facilities are exempt.
Right.
Board of Ed is exempt because we don't control them, but we can have something in there that says, we recommend these properties and list the properties, that they put up the signs and explain why. That if somebody is found to be idling on their property, the idler can get fined.
Right.
If there are no signs up, then the property owner, such as the Board of Education, can get fined. But if they do post the signs as per our recommendation, then they won't get
Yeah.
fined by the
Yeah.
enforcement officer. So I would like to see that in there. This is supposed to be an educational thing.
So we
This is a
did have
big-
that in there, we
Right.
did have that in there, it has
Mhm.
since been removed, and the reason why is because we can't have should, or it has to be shall or must, only in an ordinance. If we want to have an educational, like you should do this, we should do it through, like kind of almost, not, well, not the exact thing, but what we're doing through this residential campaign, like an educational
You give a
campaign.
best practices
Right.
section or something.
So for example, before, it just said schools. No, now it says private schools, you'll see. So not removing schools, we can't put just schools because it can't be
You
public
know
schools.
what's missing is houses of worship.
So I don't think also can require them. I think that was in there as well. Let me look at I was gonna say the unclean copy, but just real quick, it's one page, and this is what it is in clean copy.
If it's a new house of worship, I would think that it would be a shall or a must.
I would think so.
That's like a legal, that's like a legal thing.
There,
Yeah, I'll have to check on
Isn't
that.
Everything.
No, but that's specifically, there's a reason.
I understand.
So the other thing so there was places in the ordinance that we said, the signage should be placed, at every personnel entrance, at the exits, at the entrances. So exits has been removed, because of having too much signage. So entrances and inside where people idle, yes, exits, no.
but here's the problem, I'm thinking of a Wawa or convenience store. You pull in, let's say the Wawa across the street from me, it's North Brunswick, but you pull in, there's no signs when you pull in.
Right,
The sign would need to go on the building, but this doesn't
No,
allow it to go on the building. Where are they gonna put it?
no. Well, it doesn't say it can't go on the building, but it doesn't specifically say it can go on the
But
building,
it
so
says,
yeah.
it does say, shall be posted at the following locations.
Oh, okay, entrances to driveways, designated drop-off pickup, personnel and driver entrances.
And where, so I'm walking into a
Warehouse.
convenience store, none of those apply.
Does it say, I can't read it from here, but does it say warehouse bays?
Yes.
Yes, it does say warehouse
truck
bays.
bays.
And how, like every other bay?
Minimum of one sign at every fourth bay.
Okay, and
Yeah.
how about the office?
Personnel and driver entrance doors of commercial and industrial facilities, so that stayed in. But yeah, it doesn't say on building, it says posted at the following.
The concept of too
So
much
this means-
signage.
Yeah,
But let's say I'm going into the Wawa.
right,
I'm not personnel,
right,
and I'm not a driver.
right.
How am I gonna know? Where are they gonna put it?
We could add that in as a, like, hey, we would like this added back in, or, well, it was
What's
never
it
in,
used
I
to?
should say.
What,
Yeah.
what does it say?
It's,
Personnel, as in staff.
yeah,
What
personnel.
what about clientele?
Right, it doesn't.
It doesn't say that.
Can we
It
add
does not say
clients?
that.
And
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the majority of the
Of the
people
drivers,
going in there
right.
are the clientele.
Personnel, client slash customer, does that make
Yes,
sense?
yes.
Client slash customers, entrances, and driver entrance doors, okay?
Is there no way that we can put an asterisk on there and say, for recommendations, please go to such and such thing that could save you fines,
Yes, so
something like that?
according to the township manager, no, and the reason why is that if we say that and that website changes, our ordinance is effectively not, it's incorrect. And so putting now what we could do though is we could put a whole page on our website if we wanted about anti-idling and have all of this information and the templates and the
Best
pledges.
practices.
We could
yeah.
do that.
It's not actually in the regulation, in the DEP regulations,
Right.
that says that if you put up a sign, then you're not gonna get fined if somebody on your property is. It's more of a guidance
Yeah.
thing.
And that's what Bob said as well. Like, if they can't find it, like our attorney, I guess, couldn't find it in the actual
Right.
regulations, then it's really not, it doesn't belong in this ordinance. So it's been reduced to this.
Anybody comfortable making a motion that we send this on with this one change that we just?
I added it. I added the change that we, and it says location nearby, yeah. You can
Can we just check for houses of worship? Was that in our original copy and got struck?
Either NGOs.
Let me look. That was the old one.
I mean, there's so many of them, and there's so much parking in so many of them.
Houses of worship. We did not have houses of worship. Could add it in. I have to read the Relipula law, and to see, so that's the religious and land use.
I know they're exempt from a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so that I would have to see.
But they have to have handicap parking.
Yeah,
So maybe this falls in the same category as that.
I'm just gonna put it in and I'm gonna highlight it, just so I can look it up. And if it's exempt in the Relipula law, then we'll have to remove it, but I'll add it for now and I'll just double check it.
I'll make a motion to accept it as it is reluctantly without the
Recommendation.
recommendation, but I'll make that.
Take a second?
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion on this?
We could have an article in the Franklin Times.
Yep, absolutely.
And we could work on a,
Education.
we really could, yeah.
And I think maybe we could get some people from the senior communities to join us in it because they're going to be sitting next to most of the potentially idling vehicles.
Well, if they can help it.
Why,
Right.
why is that?
Because of all the trucks in the warehouses.
Oh. I was thinking of the Wawas and things like that.
I was thinking of the trucks. That trucks motivate them. We should use that to our benefit if we can. Okay. All those in favor of advancing this?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
All righty.
All right, next on the agenda is update from the Somerset County Commissioners meeting. Stan, do you want to fill us in?
Me and Robin, we went to the meeting on Tuesday, the April 9th. And we,
You and who?
Robin,
Well,
yes, we spoke in favor of Save the Mold till Thursday. We presented the research and the whys, and we asked them to join us. Two commissioners had some further questions, clarification, and then they asked their DPW employee or
Head of Parks, I think.
head of parks,
Parks,
so
okay.
whether this is something that they can implement. They said like, yes, whatever that means. Now, we told them on April 9th, whatever mowing was before that, probably, yeah, it's a pass. But, yeah, so we asked them and they kind of agreed.
They seem to look at it favorably.
Yeah.
We made the point that Colonial Park is probably the biggest park in town. I don't know how the Delaware Canal compares, but because it's such a big
But
land
that's
area.
That's a state park.
Yes, but in terms of being the biggest park in town, I don't know which one is bigger square miles, but that was probably the most grass in town. And it would have a big impact.
And we made specific reference to Colonial Park.
Yeah. I'll add that while sitting there and listening to their work session, because the county has a climate change policy and a sustainability policy, which I'd love to see Franklin Township have one of each, they are teed up for a $20 million grant to electrify the vehicles and buildings. And they think they're in pretty good shape because if I remember right, they believe they're the only county in the state that has both a climate change policy and a sustainability policy. So that would be very nice for them, if it were very nice for us, because the money could be used to electrify county buildings and county vehicles.
They are the first county that adopted electric paratransit vehicles. So, RideWise just had an article that they visit and stuff, but those vehicles were for the first time displayed to public in October 1st during the National Guard Electric Week, part of Somerville Street Fair. So I was there, I've seen the vehicle, and it's based on Ford Transit. So yeah, they're in a good shape, and
I'll also share that the mayor of Manville came up and spoke after we did in a public session, and he begged for help. They have a park where the hidden, what's it called, Lost Valley
Yeah.
is located, and they're exceeded the budget and they need help with money. He mentioned along the way the film Asbestos City, which is
Yes.
part of the Princeton Environmental Film Festival, and if you got a chance to look at
It's a
that.
very
listing.
new film.
And it is made by a Manville resident.
It is, yes.
And apparently, it's quite impactful. I haven't taken the chance to see it yet, but it's called Asbestos City. And I know you can find it on the Princeton Environmental Film Festival website.
So we could put it on the list of the film.
For one of our showings? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Anything else, Dan, on that meeting?
I think that's, that's
Just one thing, Robin, so I
Yes.
looked up to Somerset County, the climate change policy, and it looks like it was done by resolution, so it's something we were interested in. We could look and read it. I mean, they
Yes.
identify the 4 goals on their website, but I'm sure it's much more detailed. So we could definitely try to get
Yes.
information on it and see if it's just something we can
We can,
duplicate.
me too.
Yeah, replicate, yeah.
That would be wonderful.
It's called The Asbestos City. If you just look up
Okay.
Asbestos City, you won't find it, but if you put
Yeah.
The Asbestos City, it shows up.
Okay. Now, I'd like to stick an item in here that didn't make it. I attended the ANJEC in-person session on Saturday morning for effective environmental commissions. It was held in Somerville in their new civic center, which was really very nice. And there were a lot of people there, all the way from Paramus to Tom's River to Hopewell. It was a really good showing. And they had the keynote speaker, if you want to call it that. It's a member of the Environmental Commission from Reddington. And Reddington has a completely digital environmental resources index inventory. I sent you the link. Would you
Yes,
try to
yes.
bring that up for us? In their case, they took their paper book and they paid Princeton Hydro to make it digital for them. And they used all of the, they used NJ Map, NJ GeoWeb, and the ARC GIS information, and took all of those maps and all that data and have it on their website. And it's very attractive and very user-friendly. So I went and looked at ours today, which is the notebook PDF, which you have to scroll through all these pages. It made me wonder, how often does our planning board refer to our ERI, which is the reason we have it?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Whereas when you look at this one, when Tara brings up.
I
said-
can't find the link. I see your email, but I don't see, we just watched. It's at the bottom and I'm missing
So probably
it.
the last email I sent you today.
Oh, you sent this one today? Oh,
Yes.
okay, I'm sorry. I thought this was from afterwards. Okay. Last email you sent me today. All right, Charlie.
Hopefully it'll come up. If
ERI,
it doesn't, if you put in Reddington Township Environmental Resources Index, it should come up.
Okay, let me try. Here. All right. Nope, all right, let me just look it up online. What is it called, Reddington?
Right, Reddington Township, Hunterdon County. I don't think you need to put that in, but Environmental Resources.
They do have a PDF from the past.
I can't, I'm not connected.
It's okay, I'll get it. Okay. Is it like this mapping story? Is that
Yep,
what
that's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And you can look at the older one and it's the same structure as ours, but they clearly like made it better.
Oh, cool. Oh, so just click on anyone,
Right.
or is there a particular one you
No.
like?
Click on anyone.
Yes.
And all the maps are interactive.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay. Oh, well, that's great. So yeah, here's all the trees. Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you go to the climate change one, they actually have charts showing the different climate versus the weather, themes over the
Oh,
past
yeah, here
year.
shows the corridor. Oh, great. Oh, and grasslands. Okay. Oh, this is cool.
So I sent an email to ANJEC today telling them what a great webinar or seminar it was, and is there funding to help municipalities put their ERI, digitally? And she said, we should start with Sustainable Jersey.
Yeah.
Because I think if it's more user-friendly.
You could also ask Bennington who they used.
They use Princeton Hydro.
Is that who they used to
But
create
they-
it?
Yes, they had the book, and they asked Princeton Hydro to make it digital. Now, they said it, because they're not on NJAECS or whatever it is, so they needed somebody else to do it. He said, your town can do this. Now, I don't think our town's gonna do anything for us, sadly. But
Can Green Communities funding be used for that?
Oh, they have a deer map here too.
yeah, and
Cool.
so if you hover over some of these, he was showing us, information pops up. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, oh, wow.
So it's truly interactive. It was, no, they have 17,000 people in Reddington Township. And they have this. We have almost 70,000 people.
Wow.
And we got the book. So I share that because I think it's the next aspirational goal.
I would donate $1.
All right.
In addition, other things I learned that day, that we should be adding our storm drains and green infrastructure to maps to our ERI, because MS4 requires those maps now. For green fairs, they recommended laminating some of our maps and have them so we could use them over and over again. They had a breakout session on artificial turf. I haven't paid attention to this as an issue, but it is a big issue because of all the PFAS in artificial turf. And how Maplewood, Scotch Plains, and Westfield have now got ordinances that do not allow
It's
artificial
a
turf.
microplastic after
Right.
all. No? It's not just
And the
PFAS.
Sierra Club helps with that. So I don't know how much artificial turf we have in Franklin, does anybody know?
Middle Bush Park.
Middle Bush,
Yeah.
The high school, right? High school must have an artificial.
Oh,
So-
the playing field,
Right.
the football field.
And there are apparently now, talking to several of the people there are municipalities that have programs where they're using very bio-friendly chemicals on grass turf that are not affecting the water supply, that make it easy for the township or the Board of Ed to maintain those fields. So there are reasonable alternatives to artificial turf. So if that's a campaign we want to mount at some point, there are people out there that have done it successfully. The one
I
in
brought
Maplewood.
this up years ago to the mayor, and his response was, I would want to see the published papers on
Well, I think Maplewood's got them, because they spent 4 years doing this, and it started with 4 ladies on the front porch.
Oh, wow.
The other, couple other notes that, do I have any more notes? That may be it. I made some good acquaintances. The mayor of Somerville was on the Environmental Commission, and got really discouraged that the council wasn't doing anything. She ran for mayor. She won. Then she convinced another member of the Environmental Commission to run for council, and that person won. Now she's got a third person who's just won. She said there's going to be 3 of us.
Wow.
I think their council is 5 or 7, and 3 of them are very environmentally sensitive.
Pretty soon they're not going to be able to have council meetings because they'll have a quorum of the Environmental Commission.
Well, I think she had to step down. But she and Jeff, same fellow you know, were very interested in talking, working with us. I spent a lot of time at the stormwater management breakout, the stormwater utility breakout session. And we talked a lot about doing it at the county level as opposed to the individual municipality, because it's so hard to make that move. Lambertville has one on the ballot in November. And I suspect Lambertville will pass it because of everything they just went through with the last storms. And I think it will get easier once the first town in New Jersey has a stormwater utility. None of us have it yet. But there was interest there. I talked to Warren. They were very interested. Somerville. I said, if we have Warren, Somerville, Franklin, we're talking already to Hillsborough, Montgomery. We got Bridgewater. We've got the county. So
Yeah?
it could be interesting to approach it that way. So that was time well spent. It was only 2.5 hours, and they did a really nice job.
And it was during the time when we were cleaning up
It's
the...
when you were cleaning up the brook. Yep, which is why I couldn't be there, but I felt, it sounded like you had a lot of volunteers.
No, it means that we are spreading our
Yeah.
activity and we are...
And then in the afternoon, I went to the New Jersey Climate Action Gathering, where we voted to sponsor it. They never listed us as a sponsor, but they had so many sponsors,
Right.
they didn't need it. The best part there was the legislative session in the afternoon, where they discussed 3 bills, one of which is the one I testified for. That's the clean energy by 2035 for New Jersey, and New Jersey Food and Water Watch, and the whole coalition of environmental groups is supporting that. It's now sitting in the Budget Committee, where it's not moving. And head of budget is Solar something, and he's opposed to it. I don't know how it's gonna move from there, but better brains than I will have to figure out how to do that. The other 2 bills that they put before us that they really are encouraging us to be against is what they call the unaffordable dirty gas bill, which is promoting renewable natural gas, which is biomass, methane. It's still, the problem is the co-pollutants that will still be permitted under this bill are so dangerous. So that's Senate and the Assembly, the unaffordable dirty gas bill. And the other one is the low carbon transportation fuel standard. Again, this one, the problem is all the co-pollutants that will continue with it. So there are 3 key bills right now in Trenton. One of them, the Environmental Coalition, is supporting, and the other 2 are opposed. That was the afternoon, and they had a lot of people there. This was real tree hugger territory.
Okay, all right.
Really dedicated people. Maybe not a lot of personal grooming, but a lot of dedication. They had a guitar and a choir and people singing, lots of banners, and they provided lunch, and it was all homemade Mexican food.
Wow.
It was wonderful. They had a whole vegan vegetarian section and the non-vegetarian, and there was so much goodwill in that room. It was really, really lovely. And they tried to recruit me to be in the singing group. I'm already in my church choir. Well, I am too. You should do this.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, those are my updates. Anybody have any questions on those? I encourage you, if NJEC does this again, an in-person, effective, it's worth it just to talk to the 2 or 3 people. I met a gal from South Brunswick. She's on the Environmental Commission, and she said, wow, you guys are doing so much. She said, they don't have an environmental resource inventory. She said, they tell us we don't need one. I mean, look at all the warehouses that have gone up in South Brunswick. And I said, you've got Charlie Carley as your mayor. He's an engineer. She said, yeah. He said, we don't need this. Why would we bother to do it? We don't need it. And I said, we share a decent border with South Brunswick. Maybe there are some ways we can help each other.
Yeah.
But she was like a deer caught in the headlights. She was like,
Robin, that NJEC thing on Saturday, wasn't it kind of follow-up after the Central Jersey meeting, hub meeting that I attended in the fall?
I don't know if it was.
Because Jeff Lambert, he was gearing up for the next meeting and he was collecting some information. I remember that.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
But it was in a kind of new room. Maybe
Yes.
it was the same that you were referring.
Well, this was tools and tips for effective environmental commissions. Was the term. All right, so if we keep going, I've talked a lot. Reports from subcommittees.
We need a
We
new
need
password.
Yes, I sent that email already.
Because I even went through and tried a bunch of old passwords on the off chance, and that didn't work.
And you and your colleagues that were here last time, you mentioned the natives and the do not plant list. Did you have a chance to send me an email with the
I
list?
did, I sent it to the commission email.
Which I can't access.
She can't.
I
get
can
to it.
quickly forward the email on my phone to a different email if you want to look at that now.
Yes. I'll give you my card and then you can.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Because I didn't get that in this
Yeah.
email, the blast, so maybe I'll have a chance I can try to sneak it in since we can't send that yet.
Well, and I had the email all drafted and ready to go, I was just waiting for the updated list, and then they kicked me out. Maybe it's for a reason. Yes.
I think sometimes procrastination pays, that's my new motto.
It's not even procrastination, timing's everything.
There you go.
How about other committees?
So, last time, we were talking about the film screening, and I failed to mention to Maria that we were proposing July 8th, that we would be screening the next film,
Was this for the?
Common Ground.
Yeah.
Common Ground.
And Stan, I gave you the DVD, right? Last meeting, I handed it to you.
No.
Well, they sent me two. I
You should
did
hold
three
on
by
to
six.
it.
7 p.m.
I'm not gonna be here July 8th, that's why it needs to
At
go
what
to
time?
somebody else.
7 p.m.?
7. My question is whether you are available.
I know I have a,
I
probably I
remember you
am.
brought that. I
I
remember
have
seeing
something
it.
to do in July.
Because if you gave it to me, I
Well,
was.
here's my second copy. So
Give it to me. July 8th seems to not be an issue for me, so.
And don't forget, you
I know
need
that
to,
you were-
Consideration.
you need to find
Actually,
a, you need a
give it to Tara.
machine. Well,
I will be away on July 8th, so.
I think I
I'll
am.
check my car, I'll check my car, but,
Can you
and
handle holding on
and
to
Stan,
that?
I'll check my house
Yes, I
too,
am
but
available.
give it to
So let me see that
Jessica.
I'm not available, 15 to 19.
so 8 is okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me
So-
Are you giving me
if
the
we have-
DVD or are you holding the DVD?
I thought you didn't want to. have it.
I'm just trying to make sure it gets
They
there.
put it-
Now, you have to check the length of it, Stan, and do you want to, because this is a full-length film, it's not a school version.
So the person who holds the DVD will check the length.
Well, I don't have the means to,
I think
maybe
you
it's,
can go on their website.
they did have
Just
a
go like
a
this.
DVD option at the,
No, they don't, Stan checked.
No,
You
he
can't
said-
play a DVD there, right? They don't have the equipment to.
No,
play
no,
DVD.
this is a little technical thing. Bring the computer with the DVD slot, with
Right.
HDMI.
do you have one with a DVD slot?
I do have this, such a relic.
I don't. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
I
like, it is a relic.
had one and it died.
I don't mind.
Mine is still
I have it
alive.
from-
I mean,
Keep it going
Are they
till July
able-
8th.
They send you a physical DVD, which is sort of archaic. Do they?
No, they had, it was free streaming from April 15th to April 30th.
Why don't we just email them? They gave us free access last time.
Well, you can try it. That was not on the website, and the film was brought to my attention through Interfaith Power and Light. And they were making free streaming available through those
Lead the
dates.
discussion.
Or you could buy the DVD.
I'm gonna reach out to them because the Kiss the Ground had an option for exactly what we
Please,
do.
that would be
so-
great. One less thing for me to chase down. That'd be great. Okay. Anybody else? Subcommittees? Maria?
I just have a question, and I just want to remind the committee, I know we have the Green Fair in May, and.
What's the date of the Green Fair?
18, I think,
What
Yes.
month?
18.
May.
And we need to
And
have
I
a chair for
can,
the table.
I cannot be there,
And
but
yeah.
I sent you both the list of all the things that Amject makes available, and if you tell them what you want, they have employees that live all around, they'll figure out a way to get it to someone, but you have to talk to them.
Okay.
Yes.
On May 18th, I have a TV show,
Fair. Contact.
but it don't have to be every TV show. Glen Ridge is quite a hike. I'm not
Yeah, they
sure.
have a request a screening option. So I want to request it.
If you get it, then give me the DVD back. Because I paid $25.
Maria, when you get a chance, no rush, can you send me that Google Doc again, a link to it of the films from Anjac? Because it came through as like something I can't click on.
Oh,
When you get a chance, no rush. I have the thing open on my computer, so no rush. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, wait. Nope, that's the web.
How many people do we
Okay.
estimate coming to our
do you
screening?
need access to the documents?
Probably, yeah. Don't rush though.
There's
It's
20,
okay.
I'll do 26 to 50.
Okay.
Let me check what I,
It's asking if we
Thank
want
you.
a theater, but we don't have a theater, so I'll just put Consolata.
Yeah, it's
Was it community center?
No, Franklin Township Board of Education. It's not Consolata. Okay, hot topics? Anybody got any other regulations, legislation that they're aware of that they want to talk about? I guess we should think about the artificial turf. When you guys are done, let me know.
I
Go
think
ahead.
I don't think any hot topics, maybe, but I don't think so.
All right, I guess we're on to old business then. Stan, anything on the stream cleanup you want to share?
Thank you so much.
Well, that's set everything. Well, so some technical things. We at the last kind of few days before the stream cleanup, Anton from Lower Township, he made another inspection. He looked only at the stream. Now the stream is kind of clean, right? Because every time we have a storm, everything goes away. So if you look into the stream only, the path of water is relatively okay. But on the banks, on either side, we found lots of garbage. Okay, we are still counting. I'm waiting for response. But everything that is being flushed, it goes behind Easton, and it stops in front of the pipe underneath the canal. And I think that's where we have biggest problem. I suggested that we kind of try to clean it up, and I copied the township manager, which was the best way how to get no. But the thing is, it's private property.
Right.
It's private property, and the insurance doesn't work. So, I mean, I kind of spoke into it, but no.
But
In all respect,
can they send the health department
Right.
out?
So it's not the health department, but they have to contact the state, because state is in charge of canal, and they have to clean it up. It's just clogged. You cannot even see the pipe.
Wow.
To the point that you don't know it's a treasure hunt, right? So you have to come with a backhoe or something, but it's the state, not us. And once they clean it, then the level will go down. And I remember a couple of years ago, underneath Easton, there are actually two paths. I was able to walk through one of them. I mean, I have to bend, but I was able to just physically, and I guess I must have seen the pipes, but I didn't take a photo. I should have, right? Because I could compare, but no, I did not. So this is something that it's kind of a red flag for us, because around particularly the rear section of the parking lot, when you look into the bushes and you see all the garbage, probably homeless or something, lots of glass bottles, aluminum bottles, and a little bit of PET bottles.
Tires?
No, that's nothing. 2 tires we found, we used to find somewhere 100 tires. So this one's, how many, 2 tires, thing? Yeah, well, I'm getting used to a high number of tires. So this didn't flag, but lots of shopping carts. Right. And on one side you have stop and shop. Some people take it as entertainment too, And the other side is Somerset Plaza, So.
Well, thank you for organizing that and doing what you did.
It's not a people.
Just one quick thing, they are offering the Common Ground educational 45-minute version after September 1st. So they might turn around and say that we're just premature and they're still doing all their screenings. So it might be worth it to consider doing the Danville film. on July 8th and then following up with
If
this.
that one is free, because.
Yeah, you can order it for free, yeah, for education purposes, and it's the same 45,
Okay.
the cut down
Okay.
version, like the last one we received.
No, I mean the Manville one, can we get that one for free?
I don't know, that one doesn't seem to be as formalized. That, their website, it's Mariano Films, they're a motion picture company. So I'm sure,
Because new films, they want to first collect revenues.
yeah, they might want revenue, but I don't know if, I don't know, do you live in Hinton?
I do, yeah, I can ask the
reach out.
person. Yeah, I wrote it down, maybe to reach out and see if maybe we can get him to like speak about it.
Like, 'cause
because-
that
That
might
would be
be
even better.
like,
Yeah, he's a teacher at the school actually.
So he
at,
might
the
actually,
high
like,
school,
really
I
love
think.
that.
So, yeah, I can ask.
We're almost an adjacent town.
Yeah, no, I can ask for sure, so.
Hey, I love the Manville AMC. My husband and I enjoy that
Yes.
for our when we're
Yes.
off from work and we do a daytime movie.
They're gonna play that there too, actually. That movie, they're gonna play it.
Could just invite people to go to that on July 8th.
Well, we
Well,
can,
when are they screening it?
we can actually do cross advertisement, because if they have different dates, if they're open for people from outside of Manville.
Right, right,
So what
yeah.
do we want?
I wrote down actually on the list to do that, to ask, so I will reach out.
Then when we have our day, those that were not available from Manville, now they can come to ours.
So,
Right.
What's the one that's right close?
Okay.
so I'm gathering
Oh,
from
the
this,
little
we should
one?
pull
Yeah.
common ground out of the email blast that's ready to go.
Closing down.
Hold on, there's
yeah.
two conversations
We'll-
happening.
Yeah, this was the one that, pull common ground out of the email blast.
Yeah.
For now. We will not put another film in. We might mention, look for information in September about common ground.
Yeah, we can tell people that, we could send people to their website to look at it and be like, they're offering educational screenings beginning September 1st, we put in a request,
Yeah.
something like that.
And I think it's being shown in Princeton. Maybe if you're on the internet, Jessica, could you look up the Princeton Garden Theater? I think it's being shown there in May, so I could put that in. People could go see it there, because there were so many people that were interested after that Kiss the Ground.
Yeah.
When can we learn more? How can we learn more? So it'd be nice to put that in our email. 'cause those
Coming
are some people.
attractions.
You may have to put in the title of the film, because I think Princeton only shows you 1 or 2 weeks in advance.
Come on.
While we're doing that,
I got that down
we can move on to the tree ordinance
Yeah.
recommendations. You got it? Finish?
Thursday, May 16th at 7 PM.
Okay.
There's one showing.
Did
I'll
we finish
skip
our
it.
conversation about the films? I guess we did.
What time was that again, Jessica? I'm sorry.
7 PM, Thursday, May 16th. It's in partnership with the Westminster Community Farmers Market. And Scott Morgan of Morganics. You love green.
All right, the tree ordinance, yes.
Okay, I
So Arnie was kind enough, I asked to hold on that till our next meeting so I could learn more about how do we count trees in a tree ordinance. And the more I worked on this, the more it just seems to me we should do a major rewrite of the tree ordinance. Doesn't mean I wouldn't like to see a cap put back in. And Arnie feels strongly about changing the count of a tree to 2.5 inches, 4 inches.
I think I don't want to do part of the pilot. It's recommending the pilot.
I'm sorry.
In the information you sent to us, the professor is recommending one methodology.
Yes,
the
he
pilot.
recommends either the variable or the fixed radius method. And I think if we're gonna get into changing the tree counting method, I don't think that's a memo to the council or a memo to the township manager. I think that's a little more elaborate. And in both of those cases, those people who recommend those two counting methods do not recommend we change to 2.5 inches. They recommend we leave it at 4.
Yeah, I saw more.
Right. And if we leave it at 4, I think the replacement schedule should start at 4, not at 2.5. So that a tree is a tree,
Right.
coming in and going out. 4 inches is a tree, that's a tree. Arnie's current draft memo is 2.5 and 2.5 and replacing the 25% cap, but not going into changing the tree counting method, not going into requiring an arborist on retainer. And I think maybe those things, we should go to the Shade Tree Commission and say, can we work on a major rewrite? But in the meantime, if the Environmental Commission wants to go ahead with this memo as Arnie drafted it, that's what's before us tonight.
Well, I think that in what you sent us today, and I want to thank you for, you did a lot of research and a lot of good work, so thank you very much for doing all of this. I think one of the things you were just talking about was Emil DeVito's recommendation about the 4-inch tray. And I'll cut to the chase. Is on the last, or at the end of your email, you suggested some recommendations, and I'd just like to go over those because I agree with just about everything in your recommendations. But I just want to hit on the 4-inch tree situation. I went to Baumley's today to look at their trees, to look at 4-inch trees and how much they cost. And as you know, I've said that I would rather, I forget if it was 3 or 4 trees instead of just one tree, one 4-inch tree. 2.5-inch trees. I'd rather have more of those than one 4-inch tree. So at Baumley's, the Sunset Red Maple, and their biggest trees they had, they were about 3 1/4 inches. So their Sunset Red Maple was $1,195 per tree. October Glory Maple was $995. Everclear Lace Bark Elm is $995. Green Pillar Oak is $995. A Sawtooth Oak is $1195. And a Green Vase Zelkova is $1495. And that's without transportation or planting.
Right.
And that's also a 3 1/4 inch tree. So if we're looking at a 4-inch tree, I'm sure you can add on a couple more $100 to those. Which limits the amount of trees they're going to be planting. I mean, they're going to be bigger trees, but I'm not sure how that relates to helping with our canopy if we can plant 4 trees instead of 1 tree. That said, your recommendations that you have at the end, 1, we recommend changing the definition to 2.5 inches. Okay. Recommend reinserting the 25% of the tree replacement. Good. Recommend engaging a municipal arborist to work directly with the township, i.e. the DPW, the Environmental Commission, and Shade Tree, and not be through the engineering firm as currently configured. That might be difficult to get done. But I'm thinking when you say we're engaging a municipal arborist, are you specifically talking about for the purpose of counting trees or
No,
all things?
to be enforcement,
Right.
because there are lots of places in our
I
ordinance where it
understand.
refers to the officer.
Right.
But that can be anybody Bob Warnlocker wants to appoint, and they may not know anything about trees. Most municipalities define what a tree expert is, and they outline their duties. We don't do any of that.
Well, that's what I'm going to get to in here. What you've said, maybe we don't need, to work directly with DPW and not be through the engineering firm as currently configured, which is what we do. Maybe we don't need that in the ordinance. We just do it as part of using the tree fund, or we do put it in the ordinance. And the arborist need not be full-time.
Correct.
You're saying. You know what, I think I read that as being full-time, but you have in there need not be full-time. And I think to get a full-time arborist here is going to be difficult, although you talked about, as we've talked about in the past, doing shared services with different towns. And, if we can do that, that would be great. Also the possibility of somebody, person who's our shade tree liaison to the DPW. He's doing a great job, and he's very motivated, and maybe he can get some kind of certification as a tree specialist or a forester, an arborist, because I see that you have in here that Jackson and Montclair have a tree specialist and a forester, respectively, in their towns. If we can get something like that done, that would be great. So, you know, I think the recommendations that you have in here to put in our letter to whoever we send it to, most likely Warnlocker, you know, the mayor, and, you know, Steve Galuli for Shade Tree, and, you know, maybe a couple of other people. Ed as our liaison, Jim Vassanilla as the Shade Tree liaison. I think what you've outlined here is good, you know, for a first step. You know, at some point, if we're gonna look into this 4-inch tree, that's a whole big discussion. If we're gonna be replacing trees with 4-inch trees, we gotta figure out, you know, how we're gonna do that, why we're gonna do that, and whether it's gonna be beneficial to do that.
If I may,
Hmm?
if we change our current tree counting method, because our tree counting method right now says, go find 100 by 100 plot and tell us what's in there, and that's what you have to do for your whole development. Well, we've all looking at plans have said, how do we know that they really looked at that? And is anybody enforcing this? And the only other thing in our ordinance is, and if it's over so many acres, you need 2 plots, and if it's over so many acres, you need 3 plots. Still, no accountability for who inventories that plot and how it's done. These methods that are recommended to us are accepted by professional standards. They need to be done by a forester. So there's somebody who signs that thing, who is really accountable for what they've developed. And in both of those methods, this is where Emil came in, to use those methods and count 2.5-inch trees, he does not recommend it, for good reasons that help support what we want to do. And that's why I was concerned, if we were going to change our tree counting method and we were going to listen to the advice of someone like Emil DeVito, we'd probably not be smart to require a 2.5-inch tree be the count. But if we're not going to go after the tree counting method now, which I think is too complicated to try to cover in a memo, I think we do your 2.5-inch, we leave it that way, and our justification can be, you're replacing a 2.5, so you better start counting the 2.5.
Well, that's what my justification was in my original memo, I think, a year and a half ago or whatever,
Right.
that's the justification.
Yeah, and-
2.5 for 2.5.
Right, and my thinking was, well, for the same reason, if you're counting a 4-inch, then you replace it 4-inch. But if you think that, if this group thinks that's too much to demand of a developer, and quite honestly, I don't care what the developer thinks, but we'll go for 2.5, but at least it's consistency.
Mhm.
And then I do think we make a recommendation for an arborist, and we put in the 25% cap. I think that's a good memo to all those parties you just outlined.
Mhm.
You okay with that, memoist?
Yes, so the one that we have, okay. Is this the correct one? Let's see. Okay, so the last time we had in here, our recommendations were reducing the measurement of 4 to 2.5,
Right,
reinstating the 25% cap.
right.
Nothing in there though about the arborist or
No, so
anything,
that
so
would
we
be
can add
adding one
that
more
in.
bullet.
Okay.
Well, do you want to use the word arborist, or you also want to use the other terminologies that
Forest.
the forester and the tree
Tree
specialist that are used by other towns?
Yeah, see, every town does it differently.
Right.
Now, currently in ours, we say,
I mean, you looked at this more than I have.
Yes.
I'm just wondering how those titles and what those people do, what their qualifications are, if we would be
ours,
happy with those.
we have a definition that says tree specialist is a professional who understands trees and good cultural practices and their care management, such as a landscape architect, ornamental horticulturist, forester, arboriculturalist, or other. I don't think that's got enough teeth in it. I don't think there's any professional qualifications in there. So if we may take one more day, can you leave a spot there, Robin, we'll come up with the right word. Are you guys comfortable
Yep.
with that? And we recommend retention of this specialist title to be defined.
And we're putting in there about, hopefully, the possibility of having a shared services
Right.
situation
Right.
with surrounding towns, some towns.
Right.
Because I think that's gonna be a hard sell to bring in a full-time
Yes,
arborist.
I agree.
Even though we have the funds in the shade tree fund, but that could go very quickly if you're
Yeah,
paying
and we start with
full-time.
part-time, and in 3 years, if we find we've got that kind of volume, that it justifies it, great, but let's start with something.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, so I will work on that tomorrow.
Okay, I have it highlighted. So we have those 3 bullets in there, then,
That's a good start.
yeah.
Let's
so then
send that
if you have
off and see if we can get going.
And we're gonna send it to Vornlocker, the mayor, the 2 liaisons,
Yeah.
and Galuli.
Yes.
Galuli, Mayor, Councilmember Edward Potasnik, Councilman Massanella, right?
Right.
And Paul, as our chair, and Robin as being involved, and I'd like to be copied also since I was involved in the beginning with this, if that's okay.
Okay, I'm gonna type your name correctly, I'm just, you know what, let me just do this, so I can highlight it for both of you, and then I'll make it look good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Make sure I state. Okay. Oh,
So I'm not, for a moment while I'm making my notes, going back to our filming, I'm not going to say anything in the email blast about the asbestos city.
Yeah, because we don't have
Not yet.
anything firm yet on either, really.
When
I'm just
was-
going to mention the Common Ground, they can go see it in Princeton, and we're looking to do an education version in September,
When was the last time we sent blast?
late February.
I mean, I put in July 8th for in the request, but then I saw afterwards they have it available for free, so maybe they'll give us an early cut, I don't know.
Yeah, let me know, you hear
Yeah.
from them.
We kind of cut off regarding the stream cleanup. I just checked. There were 5 Amazon employees.
oh, wow.
Okay.
Which
It's
one?
registered. For the stream cleanup, 5 Amazon employees registered. And we got Franklin High School Green Club and the Edison Charter School. So we got good and very colorful representation.
And
So we're, what, roughly 100 people? with it?
100, give or take 100, yeah.
And I think you sent me the total tonnage of garbage. I'll put that in the email
Oh, I
blast.
need that too for the, I save it for next year's annual report.
Right. I need to follow up because I haven't received email yet, but
So what you sent out is not final?
no.
Okay.
I said, okay, this is from Petty Street, Petty Road. Because at the conclusion, I asked Anton whether it is all
Then
counted.
I won't worry about it, I will
Yeah,
include
but,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
so,
Thank you, everybody, for taking the time on that tree ordinance. I know it's been a long time, and you read through a lot of stuff I sent you, but my word.
Yeah.
Letter to multi-unit dwelling management companies regarding grant opportunities for electric vehicle charging stations.
I think we talked about this at the last meeting, I'm not 100% sure. Did we talk about this at the last meeting? I think we did.
Yes.
We did.
We did.
So just real quick, so Ted had sent an email to the township manager and I about opportunities, grant opportunities that are available for
Right.
EV charging stations for multi-unit development.
This is the second round of this, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
So I asked Alyssa to put together a letter. We did get the contact information for many of our municipal, for many of our multiple unit developments. So Alyssa's working on the letter. I think I have to make some minor edits or you sent me, or you asked me for feedback. And then we can send it out to
Great.
we'll send it through. So Mariana and DPW retains the list so we can
Good.
get that out. It'll just
Yeah.
kind of say, hey, you should look into this.
Yeah.
And I think
and-
those of us who have friends that live in a condo development or a townhouse in town,
Yeah.
mention it to them to go to their board, to pressure their boards to do
And,
this.
and the funding is first come, first served.
It is, yes,
Right,
until the funding
so-
runs out, yeah.
And
Yep.
I don't remember last year but how long, but it didn't last particularly long. And we did have a good number of applications from our town.
Yeah, there was one developer who has 4 properties and they all
I
got
think
it.
all total was like 6 for our town.
Okay.
Something like
Save the Motil Earth Day. Bill, can you put something out there to help promote this.
Send me something.
Stanley,
Okay,
did you want-
the image that we develop, can image
do
be
you
just
want a,
the
do you want a
announcement?
PDF or do you want a copy?
Do you want?
Text would be best.
Huh?
Copy would be best.
Can you send us, Bill, some copy that he can turn into a little article?
We have,
Not the flyer, some text.
Narrative.
narrative, sure, yeah, okay.
And you can send it right to Bill. You've got Bill's contact? I noticed driving on South Middle Bush Road that Sarah Malone, or dear Sarah, has mowed the Hegman farm. I want to say, Sarah, don't do that! She was on the shade tree commission for a long
But
time.
we are, actually, it's almost the end of the
Yes.
the thing. I don't
She
know.
she was probably told by the Meadows, I bet, because she's like the caretaker for
Well,
that.
oh, I know she is.
Yeah,
And I think
so-
that we need to make sure we get to
Yeah,
people like the
yeah.
Meadows that, but this is my point of bringing it up. For next year, I don't know if we can use Clean Communities money, but we should develop a graphic and make signs available.
I
So people
agree.
could put them in their lawn, so they can be proud of the fact that they're saving the Motel Earth Day.
Yeah, it's also communication. I realized, all of my neighbors, I hear all the common sounds of
Lawn mowing.
the lawnmower because they continue to hire.
Landscapers.
Anyway.
Could you find out if Clean Communities would pay for that?
I would imagine they would, but I can find out for sure, yep.
And I think we should try to work up a budget and include that next year. I put it in my yard, and I think some of my friends would. I don't know how much it would cost to have the signs made, but.
I had it scrambled because another thing we need to advertise is the electric vehicles, the good and ugly, which will be on April 29th.
That's in the email blast.
But it needs to go through that as well.
Yes, yes.
We have a flyer for that, yeah.
Yep.
So it needs to be spaced out, but save them all is kind of late, but okay.
Do you want to send that EV flyer to Bill as well?
Yes, but I'll send him one at a time.
Okay, and I'll send the EV flyer to Mike Lyons at Tap Into.
Tap into, we forgot about tap into.
He's not sitting here, that's why.
Sorry. Sorry.
Okay. Green infrastructure projects at Naaman Williams Park?
Yeah, so I reached out to the Water Resources Program at Rutgers University, Dr. Abrupta, and he was really helpful in the beginning with getting the grant and looking at the concepts we put together. So he and his staff actually helped me put together, they sent me a list of materials and supplies we need, because I kind of have been waiting on that. So I reached out to him, and within a day, they had sent me all the materials and supplies we would need. So I am going to meet with Carl next week at Nathan Williams Park with the list. And hopefully we can order that material, and then we can start working on priority one we start with, and then, moving through.
And then we should take some pictures along the
Yeah.
way, and then maybe
Yeah.
put that in the next email blast that
Yeah.
this was done.
Yeah, we've been taking pictures a lot. We've been visiting there, but we'll take it during the work, and then for a year afterwards,
Okay.
we'll take it monthly, so,
Great.
yep. So that's moving along.
Community energy plan, busy lady?
Yes, so I was really hoping to have the final, and I worked on it really hard all weekend, but it's just like, there's a little bit left to do, so hopefully by the next meeting. But one thing, I did put together a little list of what's done. So basically all of the foundation work is done. All of initiative 1, 2, 6 is completely done. In initiative 3, there's 2 that have to be written, which they're easy, it looks like, to write, and 1 in initiative 7.
And your deadline's May 1?
No, it's August 1st.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes. My personal deadline is May 1, but I'm getting closer to it, so I think we'll be done by May 1. Then the resources and citations have to be done. I have them all down on paper, but I basically have to like alphabetize them, so that's not a big deal. And then we need to put in our typical acknowledgements pages and things like that, no biggie. But the main thing I would like to ask is that initiative number 4 is where we need the most help, and there is still like some outstanding items. So if anyone can help with that, that would make
Is there anybody
life a
here
lot
in the room
easier.
that was supposed to be doing that? We can call them out and ask them to please do it?
Yes. Well, Alyssa, she's helped with quite a few, so she's been really helpful, which has been great. So Alyssa, oh, you did, and you're working on energy benchmarking, so we don't need to worry about that, because Alyssa, I just gave that to her, so she's working on that. Buildings electrification, I talked to Paul about. EZ was going to write one for energy savings and new construction and energy code enforcement. So really, that's it.
Just easy.
And Paul, yeah, so I will reach out to them. If I could get that and then I can basically format it, the only thing I then have to do is take all of the initiatives and like put them into one document, but I already have the main part of the plan in one document, so it's like adding the final written things in. So, yeah, so super close. Yeah.
Thank you, Tara, for all that work. Other old business as requested by commissioners? I'll just keep bringing it up every meeting because I think eventually we'll get to it, is Rails to Trails. And I will be contacting Kevin Corbett, currently at New Jersey Transit, about Conrail, but I'm going to wait and do that after July because he's been so busy with the budget for New Jersey Transit.
Yeah.
And he is either retiring in either July or September, so he'll have a little more time to help me with a contact. But he's very good at connecting people, so I think he can help me there.
I suggest we put together a committee and go in with a plan for Franklin Day. Not just, fit in where we can or whatever. We should have our own agenda and maybe a collage of things we've done, and are we going to have giveaways and things like that?
It's the same kind of material Maria's going to look for the Green Fair. You could get again from Anjac. And if somebody wants to take a look at the various maps we have, pick a map or two, and we'll ask the township to laminate it for us.
Okay, yeah.
And then we'll have that permanently to use as something like Franklin Day. So it's much of the same material, I think, can be used between Green
Yeah.
Fair and Franklin
We
Day.
should have some adopted green
I was thinking
material.
about that.
Yeah, and then we will have some, hopefully, I think by
Some money.
September, we will have some of the things from the residential energy efficiency.
Okay.
We should, I think.
Yep.
We should.
And in the budget, we have money for signage. So
Yes.
after July 1, we could spend a little money to buy adopt-a-drain signs. We
Yes.
have to buy them.
Yep.
And then have, because I know they have one of these tall vertical
Yeah.
things that, those are so eye-catching. Stuff you just put on a tabletop doesn't necessarily grab anybody, but these tall things would be great.
Yeah, I think that works.
All right. Is that the kind of stuff you're talking about? Who would you like to have on the committee with you, Walter?
Well, I would prefer the people volunteer, but, historically, Paul has been, one of the stalwarts on the committee.
Do we know the date yet, by any chance?
The 20,
It's usually the the third or second Saturday, right?
Yeah.
It's usually right, because I remember it's usually right on my daughter's birthday, that's how I remember, frankly. So she'll probably do 21st.
okay.
Saturday, right? It's usually
Yeah, it's Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, the 21st.
And that's the old format in the park.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, not what we tried to do last time here in the
Oh,
complex.
yeah. I think so. I think,
Yeah.
let me look it up and just make sure, because I'm
Alright.
not involved in that, but I
I
can look
wonder
it
if they
up.
might have it at the Board of Ed location. Well, I think, why don't you talk to Paul about that and see if you guys want to start
Absolutely.
organizing, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to help out.
Yeah, we have the banner, things like that.
But I think the inject material and adopted drain material for signage would be good, and too bad we don't have any Save the Motil Earth Day signs. That would be good to have as well.
At one time, we had our own trifold, but I think it became outdated, and we never did put together a new one. But I'll look into, here we are in April, yeah, maybe we can do something.
We can't do a slideshow because there's no power. So that won't work.
No power.
So
There is no power.
At Franklin Day?
Yeah. In Colonial Park?
I think we have generators, I think, that
For-
get some power there.
No. You can pull electric car and provide power.
There you go, Stan.
That's not new.
That would be cool, and have it right next to our booth.
We have been doing it.
But that way, we could have a, slideshow on somebody's computer. If we could
Yeah,
put it on
I
the
probably
car.
wouldn't let the car next to the booth.
Why not if it's part of our exhibit?
Like an Audi Q4, right? That would be
Yeah.
nice.
I have no idea how to make that work, but if you could make it work.
Well, if you sign me a waiver.
Just get permission from Vormlacher.
I remember they had a stage for performers, and I thought there was power there, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but whether we have it at our booth, yeah.
okay, well, if it gets that close, we'll get.
All right.
Okay, good.
And I'll share just one last thought I learned of this very busy weekend. In Highland Park has an environmental commission, and they have a green team. And the green team does all these projects and communication and reaching out to the community. The environmental commission just does plans and ordinances.
Look, it depends. I know Westfield, they have a green team, and
But
it's a corporate business.
My point was that this is a lot of work for one group of people.
It is, it is.
And I think if there were two groups, and I said, okay, how does Highland Park fund it? And she said, the municipality gives them some money. I mean, it's not a big budget, but they have a budget to do things with.
But because they're not also a government agency, they're free to go make partnerships.
Yes.
Yes, and we've talked about this before.
And they're free to
And then
meet with each other.
They can then do a lot of the outreach, prioritize things, bring them to us, and then we can then incorporate them into the actual legislation, which is how it should work.
Yeah.
But how the hell do we get a green team started is the question.
And Princeton
We have
has
a
a
green team here,
Yeah,
but it's not like that,
it's
yeah,
not
but
that
it's a
kind.
name,
Oh,
green
we-
team,
we-
yeah. It's me
We
and
have a
Ted.
green team that gets
It's Ted and I.
literally reappointed every year.
Hello, green team.
And the
I
fundamental
love it.
reason for a green team is to prepare the application
To
for sustainable
sustainable
Jersey
Jersey.
certification.
So is this just a semantics issue then?
It may be. Princeton has Sustainable Princeton.
Maybe
They
we-
do all the outreach and do all the education.
Yeah.
We need
and
sustainable Franklin then.
I,
Yeah, that's what you mean.
yeah, my point is to have two groups. This is a big portfolio. It's a lot for one group to be working on,
Well, and if they
particularly
can
with
work-
all the constraints of an environmental commission.
And if they can work on, like, actually partnering with third parties, they could have staff, that this is their job, and not people who are volunteering.
Right. Yeah, if you can get the funding put together.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, does anybody have anything else before we have a motion to open to the public?
Motion open to the public.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hello, public. Hello, public. Anything? Yes. Tell us your name and address. if
Yes,
you would.
I'm Jenny Foss, and I'm at 10 Barclay Court. I wrote down a few things. One of them with the tree ordinance, they're replacing 4 inches to a 4-inch tree. You might want to consider doing an exception to that if you're taking down a non-native tree and replacing it with a native tree. Because in the long run, like they contribute more to the ecosystem, they'll end up growing up into the canopy. But the thing is with non-native trees is that they don't support pretty much like any biodiversity, any insects, any birds, but the non-native trees, or the native trees do. So just an idea I thought of. Another thing, just when you had the zoning up, I saw there were plans for lighting. I didn't know you guys looked over that, but It's a whole thing with insects going up to lights and then they kind of die there. And that's one of the things that has contributed to like insect populations decreasing tremendously kind of around the world. For whatever reason, they don't do that for yellow lights. So if there's any place where that fits in to just replace like the normal white LED lights with yellow lights. And then I also mentioned this last time I asked about the calorie pairs. I was just kind of wondering what the process would be like if we were to like outlaw them so people can't plant them. Because just driving around, I'm seeing calorie pairs that look like they were planted maybe a year or two ago. And I'm sure as people contribute, because they are like a pretty ornamental tree if you look at them from a distance and you can't smell them. I think that a lot of people, when they're building stuff here, are considering them. So I was just wondering like what the process would look like to make them illegal.
I think in plans, developers are encouraged to use our native list, but we do not have a do not plant list, do we?
We have a noxious, I think we have a noxious weeds or plants list, but I don't think it applies to trees. So we have like a recommended tree planting list, but we don't have a do not plant list. Maybe that's something, Arnie's on the Shade Tree Commission, maybe he can mention this if you think it's.
I'd be happy to dedicate time to make that happen too, if there's something I could be doing to.
We have a Shade Tree Committee meeting, not this Thursday, but the following Thursday here, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
You're welcome to come and bring that up.
Okay, cool. That is great.
Do you think you're gonna come?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Oh, you want me to stand up?
You can say
Yeah, I have
whatever you
I have a
prefer.
couple. Maybe the first one, just a comment about the tree planting, that when, I guess, an entity, a developer or whatever comes in and they have to knock down trees and then we require them to replace them, what about the die-off rate? Because I know I watch that a lot of times, you know, you knock down trees, then you plant new ones, and then I just watch, like in the retention basin over at the entrance to Middle Bush Park, I just watch one after another die. I don't think any of them succeeded.
Well, can I
So
comment
is there
on that?
any kind of a?
The trees that were in the basin,
Yeah.
they should never have been put in the
Well,
basin.
yeah, that's another thing.
That was poor.
But that made me
planning.
think, it's just like, you know, yeah, we're replacing one for one, but one was alive and we killed it, and then we're now replacing it. Is that one going to survive?
Routinely, they have 2-year warranties or
Oh, do
guarantees
they? Okay.
for them. So if they die, they'll be replaced with one, but that replacement one does not have a guarantee.
Oh, that's interesting.
And the routinely also, it's not because it's a bad tree, it's because of poor maintenance on the tree, not watering enough. Sometimes they get hit by lawn mowers at the bottom, or whether the tree guard falls off and a deer rubs up against it, and, you know, they can kill it that way. So it's usually not the tree, it's the care of the tree.
Right. So then, I mean, if people are replacing, so it's more than just the cost of the tree, putting it in the ground and walking away, it's the care of it. Does that
Absolutely.
care then leave the person who planted it and becomes the township's?
I'm not sure
Here,
of the
let
question.
me try to give you a little bit more information that may help you feel better. The trees the township plants, which have been very few, the township is in the midst of developing a tree maintenance plan. Okay, we've been hearing this for months because it has been so unsuccessful.
Years.
There's been a lot of pressure.
noticed, yeah.
Secondarily,
I have a watering can.
the developers or the property owners are supposed to be monitoring and keeping the trees alive. There's no enforcement mechanism in town, hence the need for an arborist.
Right. Oh, you're
We're
talking
working
to the
on
right person, because when I worked at the safety office at Rutgers, part of our job was enforcement. And as we know, living in the United States, there has to be consequences. If you have a law and there's no consequences, who follows it?
So we're hoping that with some money from the tree fund, even if we have a part-time arborist or forester, whatever title we want to give this person, there'll be somebody who could potentially drive around and check on these.
I love that.
They have the site plan, it went in a year ago, what's happening now?
Right. I love that.
That's part of what we're doing.
Okay. My second comment is, again, I'm just expressing, I've noticed how Franklin has changed over the decades. I've been here for more than 3 decades. And yeah, warehouses. I don't want another warehouse. Just as a resident, I don't want another warehouse. I don't want to see the earth movers knocking down a whole plot of land.
But then that made me think, so I think we don't always know what's in the warehouse bays when they're dropping stuff off. Do we know what the materials are that are being housed there temporarily? Are there any,
They're required to have manifests for what it is that they're
and
bringing
then do
in.
they have material safety data sheets?
They're supposed to.
Okay, yeah, because I also did training on the New Jersey Right to Know Act, and it's the Worker and Community Right to Know Act. So if there's a release, if there's chemicals, is it built with secondary containment? Are all the safety features built into these warehousing? I just ask questions, I don't know, I'm not on the plan review board or whatever, but it's just I started thinking, it's like, they don't want to tell us what's going to be in there, so then how can we protect ourselves and the environment?
They're required to have that information for the fire department in case there is some kind of incident.
I know,
They can
as I
provide
said,
that
what working at
information
the
to
safety
fire
office at
department.
Rutgers, we work with the fire department, we were part of the first responders, I've been to explosions and fires and whatever, and yeah, we required all the departments to, supply to the university, the safety office and fire department, those inventories. I just wondered with these warehouses, the coming and going of different materials, are they really keeping it up to
I think
date?
if something is not hazardous, it's commingled with everything, but only if something is hazardous, then it has to be separated. Like you have to have flammables separately, in separate
There has
cabinets,
to be proper
labeled,
storage.
right?
Yeah, but that brings
Then-
up a quote for me from Paracelsus, like the father of industrial hygiene, centuries ago. He said, "The dose makes the poison."
Well, yeah.
So, I mean,
But
a grain of cyanide will kill you, but then you
Yes.
need a whole big body of water for you to drink.
But we are talking about, you are talking about personal toxicity, we are talking about environmental toxicity.
I want to cover the whole
Yeah.
ball of wax.
So, and then when you have the
think
batteries, you have to have them also
Yeah,
separate.
I just want to ask the
so-
question, because it's like, a lot
I
of
think that
times.
question is probably better posed to the council, with the township manager there, than to us,
Oh.
because we don't have that information, and we
okay.
don't have the authority over that.
Okay,
But it's a good one.
okay, well, thank you.
Take it across the hall.
Okay,
Let us know when you're
thank you
doing
very
it.
much.
Okay.
Motion to close?
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to end the meeting, adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.